Coulrophobia is the term for an irrational fear of clowns, although when a clown is cackling and running at you with a chainsaw, it doesn't seem that irrational after all. So common is the scary clown trope, in fact, that these hellish harlequins pop up regularly in video games to torment us with their painted-on smiles and squeaky red noses and chainsaws again. Someone needs to stop letting these clowns have chainsaws. Anyway, here are 7 video game clowns who definitely contributed to the urge we get to run a mile whenever we see a red nose. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games and your next trip to the circus. Sorry.
People deal with zombie apocalypses in different ways. Some try to remain calm and rebuild society as best they can. Others decide to dress up in the most buck-wild clothing they can find and spend their days stoving in zombie heads with blunt weapons for a laugh.
Yeah.
Most Dead Rising protagonists are in the latter category. But we are lucky they are, because still other zombie apocalypse survivors decide that the downfall of civilization is the perfect opportunity to lose their marbles and start killing people, because who's going to stop them? You? Anyway, see if you can guess where Adam McIntyre, the clown from the first Dead Rising game, fits in among these groups.
Everyone used to laugh at me. I was a walking punchline.
Well done, 10 points. You encounter Adam when trying to shut down the Willamette Parkview Mall's Space Rider roller coaster located in the Wonderland Plaza for important story reasons that I won't get into here.
That's why I decided to give all the happy people a lift on this fun ride.
Adam is keen for you to not shut off the mall's roller coaster because the noise keeps the zombies at bay, and he's willing to use the chainsaws he's so adept at juggling to stop you from doing so. This is absolutely terrible clowning. If you did this at a kid's birthday party, you would be in so much trouble. In Dead Rising 2, Off the Record, we discover that Adam had a brother called Evan, who is also a clown, like clowning is some kind of genetically inherited trait.
Maybe you've heard of my late brother. Used to work at the Willamette Mall.
If I'm honest, Evan is equally unlikely to get any birthday party bookings based on this performance. Just hire a bounce house, I would.
Shang Tsung is the resident shape-shifting wizard from the Mortal Kombat series, with the power to change his appearance to look like the person he's fighting.
Your soul is mine.
Or, as seen in this behind-the-scenes footage from Mortal Kombat 3, the actor who also plays Sub-Zero with a goatee drawn on his face with a Sharpie. His most horrifying transformation, however, occurred in Mortal Kombat 9, in which Shang Tsung's fatality has him turned into a monstrous clown before firing a trick gun at his opponent. That doesn't seem so bad, you might think to yourself, until he pulls out a second real gun and blows his opponent's brains out. What the hell was that about, you're probably wondering? Why did he have to be a clown to shoot someone in the face? Is Shang Tsung okay? Is he going through some stuff? The answer is yes, always, obviously, but also that this is a repurposed version of a move from the game Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. In that game, the villains had fatalities, while the DC heroes had finishers called heroic brutalities, which were, according to Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, non-lethal. If you say so, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. The Joker's fatality in MK vs. DC was exactly the same as Shang Tsung's Mortal Kombat 9 fatality, except for some tasteful camera work to avoid the worst of the gore.
The Joker wins. Fatality.
That still doesn't explain why Shang Tsung is doing it, or why he needs to turn into a clown, or how an ancient shape-shifting warlock from a different plane of reality is even aware of the concept of modern clowns. But I bet the Joker was pretty annoyed about it when he eventually showed up in Mortal Kombat 11.
You son of a bitch! You stole my face!
I could steal a lot more clout.
Never rub another man's rhubarb!
Awkward.
There have been so many people I've killed over the years. But her, she was the only one who ever escaped. She was the one that got away.
The Twisted Metal car combat games combined a bizarre selection of vehicles with a variety of weapons and special abilities and a roster of drivers weird enough to use them. These include Mr. Grimm, who is basically the Grim Reaper on a motorbike, Minion, who is a demon from hell driving a tank, and Axel, who is a man who lives between some big wheels. Oh, Axel. I get it. Among the strangest of these competitors, however, is Needle's Sweet Tooth Kane, a clown/serial murderer who drives an ice cream truck and is hell-bent on murdering his own daughter.
She actually hurt me.
Quite apart from the fact that he's not a very good clown on account of all the murder, he's also not a very good ice cream salesman. Ice cream and fries? I mean, they might work as a salty-sweet combination, but you should probably focus on one product instead of splitting your customer base like that. Also, you should charge more than $1, and actually, you know what? First stop murdering people, and then we'll talk fast food economics. Sweet Tooth is nothing if not efficient, however, and is one of the most ruthless and terrifying drivers in the game thanks to his take-no-prisoners driving style and bottomless reserves of rage.
Roadkill, destroy.
Maybe the reason he's so angry is because his head is constantly on fire. Do you think anyone's told him?
Kill every clown you see.
Left 4 Dead 2's Dark Carnival level is set in what's left of the Whispering Oaks amusement park, much to the delight of Ellis and no one else.
Man, it is like we bought the park and got every ride to ourselves. You know, that was the third thing I was going to do if I ever won the lottery.
The level features many of that once great carnival's attractions, including the Carousel, which is full of zombies, the Screaming Oak roller coaster, which is full of zombies, and the Tunnel of Love, which is now the Tunnel of Zombies.
Reloading.
Kind of takes the romance out of it, unless that's what you're into. Another remnant of the park's heyday endures in the form of the clowns who used to roam the park entertaining guests. Unfortunately, as you've probably worked out, these clowns are now flesh-hungry zombie clowns who want to kill you.
Gotta reload! Man, I've never been so scared of clowns.
I mean, I assume that's different to how it was before. I can't imagine they would have been popular with guests. Now, individual zombies in Left 4 Dead 2 aren't that scary on account of how they just sort of flail at you and have the bullet resistance of a wet sheet of kitchen roll. The problem with the clowns is that they are wearing big noisy clown shoes, and the sound made by these squeaky sneakers alerts the other nearby zombies, sending crowds of them your way. They also have a squeaky red nose, which honks noisily when you push them back. At least with the noisy shoes and the noisy nose, they can't sneak up on you, I suppose. Unless 100 other things are attacking you at the same time, like happens all the time in Left 4 Dead 2. Surprise clowns. Probably my least favourite clown genre.
This match will get red hot. And begin!
Despite its cartoony appearance, nails-hard run-and-gun platformer Cuphead has more than its fair share of nightmare fuel. And I'm not just talking about how the main character has an open head full of liquid that just sloshes around the place. Is it his blood? His brains? Why is he drinking it?
Roll is truly brewing. And begin!
But like I say, there's nightmare fuel everywhere you look. This is, after all, a game that contains sentient cigars, murderous cymbal monkeys, and the literal devil. High on the list of Fleischified horror shows, however, is Beppi the Clown, a boss from Cuphead's carnival-themed level, who is the worst thing to happen to the public image of clowns since Stephen King's It. Much like It of Stephen King's It, Beppi can take on various nightmare forms, like a fairground ride full of mannequins or corpses, you tell me. and a giant malevolent party balloon, grinning like a possessed Cheshire cat full of evil helium. Worse still, when you do get overwhelmed by Beppi's various bullshit attacks and get a game over, he taunts you with some truly terrible clown humour. Okay, off to clown jail for you, Beppi. That joke was terrible. Oh yes, and also for the murders.
Carnivals are places of fun and laughter, beacons of light and happiness in the dark. Make sure not to walk too far from the crowds and the music. Don't be lured by the painted panels and inviting colors of that lonely caravan. Or someone else just might find one of your fingers added to the clown's collection.
Right, come on, there must be at least one good video game clown. One that just entertains children and isn't a secret murderer, or drugging people, or enslaved by a demonic entity. Oh good, this one's all three. This is Kenneth Chase, aka The Clown, the Dead by Daylight killer introduced in the Chapter 8 Curtain Call DLC. Kenneth is a serial killer, of course, what clown isn't, who used his position as a clown in a travelling circus to travel across the USA, murdering folks and collecting their fingers as trophies, which he now wears on his belt. Which, to be honest, is probably a sign he's not going to be making balloon animals or throwing buckets full of glitter at people if you do hire him for an event. Being a killer in Dead by Daylight immediately puts Kenneth in the company of such horror legends as Hellraiser's Pinhead, The Ring's Sadako, and Scream's Ghostface, despite that one being mostly uncoordinated teenagers who keep falling over things. Kenneth is a bit different to the others, however, in that he is a strategic killer who corrals survivors using thrown bottles of a noxious tonic that slows them down, obscures their vision, and causes them to cough loudly, revealing their position. He does, however, still stab them when he catches up to them. Why mess with the classics?
We're on our way.
In 1988 arcade game Narc, you play policemen called Max Force and Hitman trying to reduce drug-related crime in the community. So obviously the game begins with you leaping out of a drifting supercar dual-wielding automatic weapons. Your law enforcement rampage is centered on taking down the villainous Mr. Big, leader of the literally named crack drugs empire, who is, for some reason, a big weird head. The hat and sunglasses aren't doing much to disguise the big weird headness, if I'm honest. Among Mr. Big's many minions controlling the drug trade on the streets are shirtless men in trench coats, PCP addicts, and just exactly Rambo. But freakiest of them all has to be Kinky Pinky, a knife-wielding clown who is into knifing people, shrieking, kidnapping women, and huge acrobatic jumps. The scariest thing about Kinky Pinky is that even though we are introduced to him as if he is a singular person, there are about 300 of him all over the game who all look and act identically. Is this some kind of hive mind situation? A gestalt clown entity? Or is it something to do with all the fumes I've been inhaling from the angel dust factories I've been blowing up this whole time? It's probably that, isn't it?
There it is, friends. 7 horrible clowns. Why did we make this video? Now we've all just had to look at footage of clowns, and now Jane's doing the music. We've all gone clown crazy. Anyway, you probably want to watch something else now because of all this clown stuff. So here are 2 videos guaranteed clown free. This one, 0 clowns in it. This one, almost certainly no clowns in it. There might be a little one that pops up and screams in the middle. You'll have to watch it to find out. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. Let's find out together. Thanks for Jane, please. This is a hostile work environment.